Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 10 in the cage. We are 5-4 on the season in the steel cage. And this week, I've brought my friend Mike Wright from the Fantasy Footballers. He showed up last year. He's 0-1 against me in the cage. Something tells me that he has some revenge on his mind. The revenge narrative. This is a revenge game for him as we go head to head. Now, for those of you who don't know what this video is all about, every Wednesday I bring a guest, one of my friends from the fantasy football industry, onto the show, and we play a head to head on Draftkings. But normally when you play a head to head on Draftkings, you can have overlap. You know, you're going to, if there's very viable chalk plays or super stud plays that you're going to jam into your lineups, you end up playing like a 2v2 or a 3v3 because the other 5 or 6 spots on your lineup are all basically overlapped. Well, you can't do that. We're going to draft a snake draft against one another using the DraftKings salaries. And if somebody takes someone, the other one can't have them. So you get sniped. There's a little bit of heartbreak. I've said before, the cage isn't about getting the optimal lineup. It's about inflicting as much pain as is possible on your opponent within the rules. But we also play for charity. 2 great charities on today's show, which we will get to in just a minute. We are playing for $1 more than Andy from the Fantasy Footballers played for. By the request of our guests, always up to the guest of the amount that we play for. I believe Andy played for 100, but I'll go back through the videos and I'll check. And Mike wants to play for $1 more than Andy. So let's bring Mike onto the show. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Smiz. Thank you for having me on. I must tell you, watching you start the show, so you went from like neutral Smiz face and then throwing the smile on right as you're hitting the record or go live. That was quite a moment for me that I will cherish forever.
The chat likes, as you can see, they're always spamming the Smiz smile emote anytime I start a show.
But it's going from the
I have a very expressive face, Mike.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it.
So why don't you tell everybody where they can find your stuff? Clearly on YouTube, everybody knows about the Fantasy Footballers. If you don't, you need to educate yourself. So Mike, tell them where they can find all of your stuff.
So the hub is thefantasyfootballers.com. You can get links to the podcast, to the YouTube, all our socials, everything. If you go to thefantasyfootballers.com, and you can check me out on Twitter or Instagram at FFHitman. And speaking of Instagram, I saw my man coming through with that big blue check mark.
I'm just trying to be like you. Just trying to
they
be
all
like
are.
you with that
They
check
all
mark.
are, Smiz.
I got to get some fancy buttons put in on the stories. I got like somebody working on that right now. I'm trying to do everything I can on socials, just trying to do what I can. You know, it's tough out here in these streets.
I try to remember just to post on Instagram. I am not the best with the pic. I tweet like the Dickens all the time. I mean, not really about football, but about funny
anything.
stuff, observations, things that I like. But IG, I'm not the best at stopping and capturing a moment.
I mean, you get good pictures of your floof dog up there. I get pictures of my little kitty cat up there every once in a while. Yeah. It is what it is.
If you hear anything, if you hear a brrr, that's my dog going nuts outside. We have a hole in our fence and she just sticks her face through and warns everyone, says, this is my house. You don't come near here.
Yeah, you don't walk by here. I don't know you. You can't just do that. You just pass by this house. Why don't we tell everybody who we're playing for? You are going to be playing for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Let's bring up the charity here. So if you guys want to donate yourselves, there's going to be a link down below in the description. Just click show more if you wanted to take part and donate to either one of our charities for the day. I, as always, am playing for No Kid Hungry, and 100% of the ad revenue of every one of the head-to-head cage matches at the end of the year, I'm going to add that up from the YouTube videos and send that off to No Kid Hungry as well. So if I win, Andy +1 is going to be donated. If I lose, I'm going to donate to St. Jude, but I will also be donating the ad revenue from this video on YouTube as well. So you chose the first pick.
I did. And if you weren't here for the pre-game or the pre-stream, whatever Smiz calls it, last year I took my chances because I wanted the expensive chalk pick, and it was Zeke last time. And I left the perceived free square. The super cheap option was for Philadelphia. At the time, it was Nelson Aguilar because everybody was hurt. Aguilar came through. I think he had a multi-touchdown game. He had an absolute beast situation. Now his I think his matchup at the time was better than the player I'm going to take here, but I don't claim to be a DFS expert, but I don't know how I pass up on 4,000 4K for my man Mike D. Mike Davis from the Carolina Panthers with Christian McCaffrey. Not technically ruled out yet, but I will take him against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, his name's Mike D, and he gets respect.
That's right. My cash and your jewelry is what I expect.
Your targets and receptions are what you expect.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
So, as you said, not the best matchup in the world, and I know that people are going to kind of try and cross their arms and stomp on this play as the weekend gets closer. Well, it's not a good matchup, and Tampa Bay is really tough. Defense versus position against running back. Who cares? He's 4K. He was priced at 6,200. I think they priced him up on the early slate, which came out later than the full main slate. And they actually corrected this and put him at 6,700, where at that point, it's a decision that you have to make. Do you want to play him in a tough matchup and one that usually pushes teams to throw the ball more to their running backs? And we've seen what he can do when they throw the ball to him the first few games that CMC was out. But at 4K, like if he has 0 rush attempts, but catches 6 balls for 60 yards, that's 12 points for 4K. That's really all that you need is 6 catches for 60 yards to make this a good pick. So he's going to get way more volume than that. An absolute smash pick, the pick that you should be taking in that spot, in my opinion.
Thank you. I appreciate your permission.
So that more confirmation, not permission. So that leaves me with 2 here. And I've said that this is not about taking the most optimal picks. I'm going to take one value play that I think is a good play here, even though I understand that it's not as good as a Mike Davis play. I think that it's a very good ceiling play, and I think that assuming rational coaching, which I cannot assume.
That is the worst, man. It gets me every time.
I'm not assuming that with this organization, but based on the volume that he has, he does have a good floor for the price and has access to a ceiling, as he is the most talented running back on this team. And that's going to be DeAndre Swift at 5,100 here. No, he's not getting the amount of volume that I want, but he's the best pass catching back that they have. He is also the most talented back on the ground that they have. And again, I'm going to assume that the coaching will not get more rational. But if we take a look, he's getting enough volume or enough points on his volume, with the exception of that really slow-paced indie game where they got like 50 snaps or something like that on offense. This is a spot where he could have a really solid game for us. And if he happens to break a long one or wanders into the end zone, all of a sudden it's an absolute smash play at 5,100. So I'm going to lock him in.
All right.
And now for not the most optimal pick here, because, if it was an optimal pick for the cage, I would do something knowing what you just did to try and take something away that I think that you want. But I'm going to take something away that I think that you love.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Chase Edmonds here.
Okay.
Knowing that you are a Cardinals fan at heart.
Yes.
And I think that he's a very good play this week. Obviously, not very efficient last week against Miami, but Miami has been surprisingly tough on defense. If you get the similar amount of volume, right? Like 25 carries and 3 catches on 3 targets. If he gets 20 carries and 5 targets, which kind of aligns more with what he should get against a Buffalo team that is not as good defensively as it was last year. Their name and reputation as a defense right now is what they're living off of, because they're not being really able to do it on a week-to-week basis. Edmonds has some very good upside here at 6,300 and allows me to do what I want with the rest of the lineup. So I'm going with Chase Edmonds, even if somebody like Drake comes back.
He is practicing,
but if he comes back, I still get that usage in the pass game that we really, really valued, the long down and distance stuff. So I really love Chase Edmonds this week, and I don't mind the price, and I want to take him away from you.
He's on my short list. I have the concerns a little bit about Kenyon Drake coming back and assuming his role right away.
His role was terrible.
What's that?
His role was terrible. Like in the games where Drake played, 21 points against Seattle, 20 points against the Jets, 15 points against Carolina, all games where Drake played. The role that Chase Edmonds has with Drake is not a bad one. I think that they're more creative in long down and distance when they get him on the field, as opposed to first and second down when they run with Drake.
Yeah, I don't understand what Cliff is doing on first and second down.
At all. And he did it again with Chase in the first and second down role last week.
All of a sudden, Chase Edmonds, who, like by all accounts of eyeballs, has been far more explosive, more efficient. Like when he gets the ball in space, it's exciting. And then they said, okay, just do what Kenyon Drake has been doing. Like, why? Why are we doing this?
And they didn't do it in the second half of last season. They were very creative getting the ball to their running
targets,
backs
man.
early. Yeah, targets, but also the run plays that they were running. Like, it's just, I don't like the way that they're utilizing him. I like the volume if Drake is out, and I like the utilization if Drake is in and Edmonds goes back to his role before, which is the more creative, higher efficiency role.
All right, so you took 2 running backs. Let's see if this alters my strategy at all.
Probably not.
Probably not. You're right. Maybe we got the flex. There's man. All right. I'll just go with look, he's back. It was pretty shocking that he was actually back. It seemed like their hand was forced from the COVID. And again, not a DFS expert, but I don't really understand why his price is lower than the other running backs, like Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. So I'll just take number 3 over there. I'll take Aaron Jones against the Jacksonville Jaguars for $7,100. Now I got just a little bit over 1,100 with Mike Davis and Aaron Jones locking down my running back crew. And I don't know if you would have been able to afford him to slip him into your flex spot there. But I don't want to risk that anyway, so I'll take Aaron Jones.
I think there's a lot of value on this slate. I think that there's ways that you can go at a lot of different places. Aaron Jones is a stud play. Whether they have 3 running backs or 2 running backs that are playing on the slate or not, Aaron Jones, a touchdown machine on the highest scoring offense in the league, playing at home. Arguments that we have something we call a 5-box running back on this channel, right? So somebody who is at home, favored, has an expectation of 20 touches, is involved in the passing game as well. As getting the bulk of the inside the 5 carries would be a 5-box running back. So you could say, well, maybe Aaron Jones doesn't get 20 touches, but like he sure as hell fills those other 4 boxes pretty well.
Yeah, he's a wild play. It's similar to like DeAndre Swift, where I can't ever buy into DeAndre Swift, but then you go back and look at the actual results and you go, looks like I was wrong again on this guy and his low volume. I don't know what to do here. So I'm in on Jones.
His snap count has increased recently, just like Aaron Jones. Like he strikes me very much like a rookie version of Aaron Jones with his usage and with his talent and upside. It's just a matter of them actually doing it the right way. But they'd rather give a ball to a 47-year-old.
Yeah. Well, and it's when you look at the snaps of like that Jacksonville week, 38% of the snaps, but 18 opportunities. When
he's on the field, they give him the ball.
When he's on the field, they give him the ball. So it's hard to argue. I mean, we're so trained to, I need snaps. I need to see snaps because I need to see opportunities. And they're giving him the opportunities, and I'm still not buying in.
Yeah, I mean, and if that snap count rises, they would probably give him more opportunities, especially if Galladay stays out.
No, they won't.
Like I said, assuming rational coaching, and you can't assume rational coaching when the coach is who the coach is. I am going to go with a $7,100 wide receiver here, and it's going to be Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen does is get 10 plus targets every single week, unless he gets hurt in the first quarter. He's averaging, I think, 22.7 points per game in his healthy games this year when Herbert has started the game. That's obscene for 7,100.
What's your take on Justin Herbert?
I think he's actually good.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride on the footballers of like, I bought in right away. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I needed to see him chuck the ball deep once, and that is a beautiful pass, and it was okay. I'm very interested, and then he just kept producing, and
he keeps taking shots.
And the other guys have been just the shoe will drop. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna drop on Herbert. The guy's he's very good, and he's surrounded by a perfect cast, especially once Austin Eckler returns. But just the 2 guys of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I mean, I feel like that's enough of a rock paper scissors to keep the defense guessing.
And Henry and Parham once they get close, and the rookies, Guyton, who can get down the field. So he just takes shots all over the place. But my argument with Herbert, for people who are like, well, we weren't expecting this out of Herbert. 2 years ago, he was the number one expected NFL quarterback prospect. This isn't like some guy who came out of absolutely nowhere. And then it's like, well, we didn't know who he was, and now he's the number one pick or a first round pick. And I don't know, maybe he'll do all right. But like, no, this is a pedigreed quarterback who every scout thought was the number one guy. Then he went back to Oregon, and they're like, well, they start spotting flaws here and there. And this is a guy they thought was going to be good in the NFL. And guess what? He's good in the NFL. So like, not really all that shocking to me.
Right.
All right, going back to you. You got two running backs. Huh? You want Herbert here?
Oh, no. Oh, you took Keenan Allen.
You took Aaron Jones. I took Keenan Allen.
All right. Yeah. No. I don't need Herbert right here. No, thank you. I love it, but it's
like we were talking. I was like, oh, did you say you were picking him? I forgot.
No.
I thought I missed.
Okay. Man, I got my eye on one more value play, and I
go for it.
But I just no. I don't know how to play this game against you. We've only done it once, so I don't know how to read if you're going to be on top of this guy or not.
Well, you can't take the value pick now. Because you know that I don't want to take the value pick, but you also can't take the high dollar player because I might also want to take the high dollar player. See? Never dizzying intellect.
So you never get in a land war
in Asia.
In Asia.
Yeah. Never go in against a Sicilian with deaths on the line.
Same thing here. All right. I'm going to look at the wide receiver position.
All right.
And you took Keenan Allen, which I think is fantastic. I will take Bobby Trees. I'm going to take Robert Woods here against the Seattle Seahawks. The matchup just keeps producing. He's only 6,600. I will take it. And the flip-flop, not that super small sample size, but it was funny. We were highlighting this on the Footballers today of Cooper Kupp actually has the higher target share. Robert Woods is the one who has the higher touchdown share. They both peed into the fountain, and they have switched roles in a classic body reversal movie. So I'm going to take Robert Woods here for 6,600. I think he's super safe, and I think his ceiling is outrageous this week. Okay.
I am going to do the exact opposite of you. I'm going to pee into the fountain, and I'm going to take Cooper Kupp with my pick. At 6,900. Very nicely priced this week, coming off of a 20-target game against Miami.
Very nice.
And a bye week. Slot receivers you could say this for any receiver really against Seattle, right? Like the status slot receivers have gotten more yards against Seattle than any other team in the league. But like any receiver at any other position, X receivers have gotten more yards than any other team, and Z receivers have gotten more yards. It doesn't even matter. So just a great matchup. I want as much of this passing game as possible, and it's a really condensed target tree. The tight ends, whether it's going to be Everett or whether it's going to be Higbee, neither of them run routes on more than 50% of Jared Goff's dropbacks. So both of those dudes just don't get out there and do stuff. So really, it's going to be Woods or it's going to be Kupp. And if one of them has a 2-touchdown game, you know what? This is like the other side of this game, right? DK and Lockett, where like sometimes you pick Metcalf and Lockett has 3 touchdowns, and you pick Lockett and Metcalf has 3 touchdowns. This could be that sort of a situation. These 2 picks right here could be what defines this cage match.
Yes. Too early to call.
Yeah.
Stop the count.
No politics, please. Only on my Twitter feed.
All right. That was quite the tit for tat pick there.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was a cheaper situation. I'm not going to declare victory right now, but
you have $300 of more value there than I do.
Yes, $300
whole dollars.
All right, let's see. Do I go? I'm trying to look over which wide receivers I like.
There's a lot of wide receivers.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys in that 6K range that I like. So like I'll call my shot on this player. That's let me make sure I verify the his salary here.
Go for it.
All right. So I'm calling my shot on we call him smooches on our podcast here. Smooches. And you're gonna have to dive real deep to figure out why we call him smooches. but he has a running back for Washington. His name is J.D. McKissick.
All right.
You see what we did there? See what we did there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Highbrow, always bringing the funny on the fantasy football.
I see what you did there.
4,900. I mean, you're going up against a defense that has allowed top 5 points to the running back positions in 3 straight weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We got the report today that Antonio Gibson, who I also love this week, but he did miss practice today with a shoulder injury.
It is Wednesday.
Yeah, it's early on in the week, but still enough that I'm not just going to lock in Antonio Gibson here.
Right.
And on top of that, week 5, J.D. McKissick saw 8 targets. Week 9, J.D. McKissick saw 14 targets. What is the commonality of those 2 weeks? It is Alex Smith. Alex Smith will check it down to the running back. And if you've seen the reports, Antonio Gibson is not on third downs, and that is a design by Washington. They are not ready to play him on third down, and that'll be McKissick. So I like him to gobble up some targets here.
I would like to see Gibson, not because you picked McKissick, but like I'm flabbergasted that Antonio
I am in the same boat as you.
The guy who was, and I know that he was one of your dudes.
Yes.
In the preseason, in the run-up. All the stuff about him, he's a pass catcher, he's a wide receiver that's converted to a running back. We don't know if he can handle volume.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if he can run the ball 15 times a game, but like he can sure catch it, and he's great in the passing game and all those sorts of things, and you got to get him the ball through the air, and that's the new NFL. And Washington's like, nah, we're not going to play you on third down. And it's like, I went through all this stuff on PFF earlier today. I understand that like he doesn't have a good pass blocking grade,
so let him run a route.
Yeah, so don't make him pass block on third down. Like, just run him out here to the slot as a release would be fine. Because saying that, well, he doesn't do that, we don't want to put too much on his plate. And now I'm just ranting, but like sometimes I have to do that.
Hey, I'm here for it.
You know who else? Another rookie that is not good at pass blocking, a rookie running back who is not a good pass blocker? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Has a 29 pass block grade. Now Gibson has like a 19, but like we're splitting hairs. Both are bad. 19 or 29 basically to me says bad. It's red on PFF. So red is bad, right? No matter what shade of red it is, if your thing is red in a grade, it's bad. But it's not like the Chiefs offense is struggling, and it's not like the Chiefs are saying, you know what, we can't get this kid on the field on third down. It comes down to coaching and scheming and what you are able to get through in your play calling and all those sorts of things. So it is what it is. You've locked up your flex. You have McKissick, Mike Davis, and Aaron Jones. There's a lot of things that you can do with this team. I like your build. I like the amount of targets that I have. And I'm gonna lock in a value. Yeah. That's what I'm
talking himself into it.
Well,
all
like
right.
there's some extreme value that's left if I want it or need it. Like there is so much value at wide receiver this week. Some of it is pending if players are injured by the weekend.
Sure. And
some of it's already there. But one that's out there is Devontae Parker at 5K.
Ooh.
Against the Chargers, kind of a secondary stack situation here. I don't always think that I have to stack in these spots. With Preston Williams out, Devontae Parker is kind of the dude now. I know that it's not really high volume pass game offense, but there is no way for them to move the ball on the ground with the stable of running backs, if we can even call them a stable, for Miami. And they're playing against the Los Angeles Chargers, who play some high-scoring games, make you get after it, and make you throw. I don't think the two is going to be able to throw it like 18 to 22 times. I think he's going to have to throw it 28 to 35 times. If that happens, I think Devontae Parker sees 7+ targets in this game at 5K, more than enough for me to want to go after him, and I get the bring back with Keenan Allen. If this game gets over 55 or 60 points like they did last week against the Cardinals, good spot here for a push and pull between Keenan Allen and Devontae Parker.
All right. Very interesting.
Chat said the unstable of running backs for Miami. That's well played.
Yes, it is. Yeah. All right, I'm over here. I'm tinkering. I'm moving some things around. The X's, getting into the X's and the O's, if you will. And now I've lost track of what my team actually.
Now I don't know where I'm going.
All right, so I've got Davis, I've got Jones, I've got Woods, and I have McKissick. That's my build so far.
You got 2 wide receiver spots, a tight end, a quarterback, and a defense.
All right. I'm going to bite the bullet right here because I don't want you to get that stack, the stack that could potentially define our game. So I'm going to take Jared Goff right here, 6,500. We've already laid out the reasons to play against Seattle.
Quarterbacks and wide receivers against Seattle every week.
Yes. Now if Robert Woods goes off, good for me. If Cooper Kupp goes off a little bit, at least I can maybe mitigate some of that damage.
Yeah, you can definitely do that with Jared Goff. Is he good?
Jared Goff is competent. That's where I am on him.
I mean, do you need much more than that in the NFL? Like, look, there's like 4 or 5 really good quarterbacks in the league, and there's 4 or 5 really bad quarterbacks in the league, and everybody else, to me, falls into that category that you just said. Like, they're fine. Yeah,
he is. If he's in a good situation, he can thrive. I think that he's got a good deep ball. I think he can execute an offense as long as he is protected. But he's not really the guy that we're down 17 points. Jared Goff, take us to victory. I don't read him as that type of a quarterback. But
he's not a game changer. But he's more than just a game manager.
Yeah, he's not going to lose games for you frequently. He'll have a couple dumpster fires.
He'll blow up every once in a while.
But competent. So probably not worth what he's paid, but I don't know how many of the quarterbacks are actually worth what they get paid.
I mean, if somebody's willing to pay you.
Yeah, that's true. Look, supply and demand, baby.
If somebody's willing to pay you that money, you are worth that money.
I love it when we had looked at like a new house the other day, and it's like, okay, well, what if I sell my house, what's it worth? And you're like, well, what it appraises for? I'm like, that's bullcrap, man. It's worth what someone was willing to pay me for.
Exactly.
I thought this was America. I'm sorry.
Now I'm looking at you like a South Park drawing. I'm trying to see you South Parkified at this point. I think that there's one tight end who is head and shoulders above the rest this week. I really, really do. Okay. I have 19.6 remaining. I think there's enough value tight ends, right? Like there's a lot of guys at tight end this week from like, let's say 3,900 up to like 4,500 that are solid, you know, that I don't know that I need to come all the way up to like Darren Waller at 59, but I could leave that for you. And there's a few in here that I think that are very, very interesting. And one of them that I want to play, but I don't know if I can lock him in on a Wednesday when we draft these shows because of what it would leave me in case he's not back, although I think he will be back. So I'm going to go with Evan Engram instead at 4,500. Yes. 29 targets over the last 3 games. Golden Tate squarely in the doghouse. And even though they're not getting him the ball where I would like to see them getting Evan Engram the ball for as good of an athlete as he is, I do want to buy into this volume on DraftKings at 4,500. They're also very easily convertible targets into catches, even though he's only got like a 50% catch rate the last 2 weeks, double-digit points each of the last 3 weeks, and allows me to do what I want to do with the rest of this roster.
Yeah, I like Evan Engram.
And the matchup with the Eagles, like the Eagles are really bad against tight ends.
Yeah, he was 6 for 46 the last time they played, which is, you know, it's all right.
That's fine.
It's all right.
It's 10 and a half points for 45K, 4,500.
All right, now man, I'm a little stuck here on I got to figure out who my last value play is. Make sure I've got it locked in so I can take the person I actually want to take. All right, so I've got Mike Davis, Aaron Jones, Robert Woods, Jared Goff. I stopped the stack. Blocked you.
You blocked me with Goff.
Here's the thing. You definitely were going to take it, and that's what I choose to believe. You can't convince me otherwise. And then J.D. McKissick. Engram was definitely one of my value tight ends. He is my tight end start of the week on tomorrow's podcast.
All right.
I really do. I like him. Oh, goodness gracious.
There's a lot left.
Yeah, there's a lot left. I'm just curious if I go with this with a particular stack that is I'd probably be frowned upon. Is the running back wide receiver stack frowned upon in DFS?
It depends on the situation. So you're gonna go with Devontae Adams here?
I'm considering it. I'm considering going with him.
I mean,
but then
look,
I don't.
you can. Like
I don't know if I can fill out the rest of my roster the way I want to.
Yeah,
if
you'd need cheap.
Yeah.
And cheap is available because one of them's defense goes down to 2K. Tight end, you can find guys that are just warm bodies on the field, but like it's definitely restrictive.
Yeah, 9K. Man, that's a lot of quiche.
That's a lot of quiche. 9,000 is a whole lot of Ks. 9 is a lot of Ks.
Right. All right. I'm trying not to stall. I promise.
You're fine. Take your time. Just talk them through it. YouTube likes hearing people talk things through.
Then I will remain silent.
Dead air.
I really like Will Fuller against the Cleveland Browns, and I like the price is not too shabby. I feel like I like Terry McLaurin at 6,800, but I don't know if I want to go all in on Washington because I already got J.D. McKissic
It's
here
tough to buy too many pieces of that passing game.
Yeah. I should have just gone Washington super stack.
just
Imagine
dudes.
that victory lap.
Yeah. Just go, you know what? I'm going to take McLaurin. I'm going to take McKissic. I'm going to take Logan Thomas. I'm going to avoid and not take Alex Smith. You would have all of the correlation Twitter going nuts. They would be all up in your mentions.
All right. Man. Oh, all right. I think I'm going to take the wide receiver here that even the pricing. Do I take? I mean, I want to take Fulgham here. But with Rager truly back after a second game and Dallas Goedert. How does Dallas Goedert get one target last week? What was that all about?
It's not like he didn't run routes either.
I know. It's just
that's the first thing I look at. I was like, okay, was he blocking? Did he not play snaps? What did I miss? No, he was out in the route a ton. They just didn't throw him the ball.
All right, read me your team.
My team, I have DeAndre Swift, Edmonds, Keenan Allen, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Parker, Evan Ingram. A lot of targets.
Yeah.
15,000 remaining for a defense. And so like really plenty of money left for a quarterback and a flex.
I'm really torn on this Devontae Adams thing, man. That's so much. That is just a hamstring to the rest of my team.
It's killing you.
Yeah, it's killing me here. Oh, and I like Dallas Goedert as one of my tight end value plays. Like, I mean, I guess I can talk tight ends. You already took yours.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Really like Dallas Goedert at 4,200 is very appealing. I'm not going to pay up for Waller. I strongly consider.
I thought you would take the Walrus, to be honest with you. I kind of thought I was like, okay,
you, baby.
I thought you were going to take him.
No, I want to save the $800. If I was gonna, the one I would pay up for would be Hawkinson against Washington. As I'm not expecting Kenny Golladay to be back.
Hawkinson finally getting volume the last 2 weeks too, with 18 targets and two. Like that was the problem. He's been getting a lot of red zone and end zone usage, which has really bolstered his points per week. Like if you took his touchdowns away from weeks 1 through 7, he was getting like 5 fantasy points a game. He was just having these really dud weeks, and he would kind of save you or salvage it with a touchdown, but he wasn't really getting a lot of targets, 4 targets, 5 targets. And he's, now he's finally getting the routes and the targets to justify his price over 5K on DraftKings.
All right. I'm going to go with the man who's been disrespected. I'm going to go with Travis Fulgham here. Top 15 wide receiver, 3 of the last 4 weeks, getting like 10 targets a game.
What a revelation, this kid.
Oh yeah, it's when these guys pop up from time to time, and you look at the NFL and think, how are you guys so bad at your jobs that you didn't recognize Travis Fulgham? How did you not see this guy? How did you not recognize Austin Eckler before the draft? So it's like people like to get upset at us for not recognizing a breakout candidate. You know, the NFL misses on these guys all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm,
Like,
I'm not a professional talent scout.
We're trying to figure out who's going to get the volume. Like, we're not even trying to
Right.
evaluate talent. We're just like, this guy should play. Because volume is way more important, opportunity way more important than talent for fantasy football. You know, talent can do things when you're on the field, but like if talent is holding a helmet, it's not scoring any fantasy points. Like the guy that's on the field is the guy I'd rather have. So like that's what we're trying to project. These guys can't even figure out who to get on the damn field. Like, how did this kid not? I don't know. Whatever. We can go all day.
Is this his third team? Am I remembering that right?
But it's always that story, right? Like, oh, he was cut 3 times. Like Mike Davis.
Yeah,
Cut by 3 different
it's like
teams.
Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen out of nowhere. And I mean, it's a similar situation. When the Adam Thielen breakout happened, and to be fair to everyone who's playing fantasy, you're just waiting. Just wait. Like, there's no way. There's no way this keeps going. There's no way. And then you get into draft season. Okay, there's no way it can keep going. I won't draft him high. And then you just realize Adam Thielen is somehow the NFL missed, and he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, I agree with you. So I am going to take a defense here.
Okay.
And there's defenses you could take, like, you know, that are a little bit cheaper. I could save a couple hundred, but I don't think that I need the couple hundred here or a couple hundred there to get the guys that I kind of want or need, right? With the rest of this team.
All right.
So I'm going to take the Saints defense against San Francisco.
Yeah.
At $3K, leaving me with 12,000 for a quarterback and a flex. You still have your picks to make, and I'm going to take a little time and figure out who I need.
You picked too fast, man.
So you've got Jared Goff, Davis, Jones, Woods, Fulgham, and McKissick. An average of 4,800 and change remaining per player. Obviously, the defense is going to probably boost that unless you pay all the way up for like the Steelers at 4,400, which, you know, most people don't do, but it's viable against Cincinnati, who drops back 40 times a week plus, and has a rookie quarterback who can make mistakes from time to time. But like, generally speaking, you're probably going to have somewhere along the lines of, you know, 12,000 ish remaining for your last 2 picks as well.
All right, I'm just plugging a couple things in here to see if it works out with the old budget machine.
you got an abacus.
Yeah. What, you don't have one?
I have 3.
Oh wow. Elite
I have
abacus user.
I have an abacus. I have an app that's an abacus on my second monitor over here.
I thought you were just going to say it's my calculator.
Yeah.
It's my abacus.
It helps me really figure things out.
Okay. So I don't think I can make Devontae Adams work no matter how hard I try.
It would be rough.
Yeah, it would be rough. All right, so I can get the defense that I would, if I'm going to pay up for a defense, I would pay up for the Eagles against the Giants at 3,600. And if I do put Hawkinson in, that leaves me with 5,800 for my final wide receiver. And if I go through all of those steps, then we're talking I can take a shot with Christian Kirk, who's been on fire. Jerry Jeudy, little bit of a breakout game. Did you see that route?
Yeah,
it made the rounds. He faked the 9. Yeah, and he cut it off.
Oh, like, I'm open. And like, as soon as the dude's hips turned, he's just like, nope, I'm right here.
I mean, that is so legit. How is this not happening all the time? Because like, if you're the DB and you see him throw his hand up, immediately you're like, oh. You're disrespecting my speed.
You are not me. You're not open.
You aren't open. He's like, no, I'm about to be though.
Yeah,
I'm about to be very open.
Watch me be open in just a second here. As soon as he gets his hips to turn the wrong way, now he's open. And then Julio made a DB fall on that touchdown.
Yes.
He basically did the same thing. Like, he cut inside and he kind of threw his hand up, and the DB like went for it, and he's like, nope, I'm going out here. Low post corner route.
All right. I think I know I know how to complete here. All right. So you already got your tight end. You already got your defense. So I'm going to take the wide receiver just in case this is the other guy you were looking at. He's been, coming on lately. I'm going to take Brandon Cooks here against the
He's been
Cleveland
good.
Browns. He has been good. It was funny. Like, we had an actual retirement ceremony for Brandon Cooks.
Did you have JJ on the show to do that?
No. And like we played some nice I think we played like Pocket Bell's Cannon in the background. And it was week 3 or whatever. It was just after seeing him with the Rams the final year and what he was doing, it was what is going on, Brandon? And then since we retired him, we take all credit that he put it on his bulletin board.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, those schmoes, the fantasy footballers, they don't know what they're talking about."
It's fun
Brandon
when the
Cooks.
pros watch the show.
We do know that shout out to Kyle Juszczyk is a big fan of the fantasy footballers.
There you go. I didn't know.
So-
Does he play? Do these guys
Yeah.
play fantasy football? Like a lot of, I know that baseball players end up playing fantasy football a lot. Not all of them, but a lot of them do.
Yeah, some of them do. I think Kyle plays.
Interesting. Like how would that? I know Juju plays. Obviously,
Yeah, we
You're
are in the league with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take Brandon Cooks for 5,600 because I can see a path now. I have been just walking through this tunnel with my eyes closed, hoping that when I get the other side, something good happens.
And you found it.
Yes.
All right. Well, coming back to me, I have 12,000 for a quarterback and a flex. Now, there's more than enough value out there. Like I could really make you hurt here.
I dare you.
I
dare you. I'm invincible.
I could throw correlation to the wind and really make you hurt right here.
Let's go. Let's have fun.
You're gonna loathe watching the Cardinals this weekend if I take Kyler.
Come on, man. Are you serious? Are you gonna do Hopkins?
I could just take Kyler.
Oh yeah, you can. What does Kyler cost? Is he not like half your salary now?
He's 8,000. I would have 4,100 left for a flex.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid pick against Buffalo.
I mean, I could leave myself a little bit more. I could come down and for Josh Allen against Arizona and then like kind of for the needle. But like, I think it's worse. I kind of feel like if Edmonds was to like catch a touchdown from Kyler here.
Right.
You know,
I mean, he's not gonna because they just don't throw the running back
He's
anymore.
not gonna.
They've decided it's negative EV. We've stopped doing this.
So like I do have to talk people because like obviously the comments on YouTube are going to be insane first of all. So like yes, there are paths to me taking there's plenty of value at quarterback under 6K. Stafford's fine. Burrow, even though the matchup against Pittsburgh, he's going to get the volume, throw it 40 plus times. Tua against the Chargers, I do have Parker. I could correlate him with him at 5,600. Derek Carr is a good value play against Denver. There's more than enough value that's cheap this week that you could go. But like I said, and I think Goff is tremendous. I think your Goff pick was outstanding. I think Watson's fine if I wanted to save a little bit more money off him. But like, again, it's not about picking the optimal lineup here. It's about ruining your weekend.
Person.
And I really just want to take Kyler here at 8,000.
I dare you not to.
I just did it.
Oh, damn it.
I did this to Andy and I had Christian Kirk and he had that big game. And now I've got Kyler.
All right. Well, at least it's Edmonds.
Yeah. So like my correlation sucks and I don't care.
I mean, it's the highest over under of the weekend right now, right?
Is Green Bay still up there? I mean, I could check on this stuff after, but
yeah, it was
last high.
Last I had checked, it was either number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, it was like 55, 56 range. And so was Green Bay, but like Green Bay's favored by like 14.
Yeah. Last I had checked in, it was 56.5 because I like John Brown.
Yeah, I want as much from there as humanly possible.
Yeah.
All right. So back to you.
So my path has been cleared. I will remove the blindfold. I am gonna take TJ Hawkinson because
All right.
I will punish my defense. I will make them the Mr. Irrelevant pick of my team. I'll take Hawkinson getting that volume. Kenny Galladay's not going to be back, and against Washington, it's kind of like their defense is surprisingly okay, and but you can kind of get it done at the tight end position. So I'll take Hawkinson.
You want to make your defensive pick here because I can't pick a defense.
Sure. Oh yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles.
You're going to go with the Eagles. That was they're your number one defense on the week. You said not Packers.
They're just I'm looking at the prices of what I'm willing to pay versus it's so. The Steelers, it's fine, but like you said, like Joe Burrow is going to end up throwing a bunch, and it's just the Eagles. It didn't work out as expected last time versus the Giants, but Daniel Jones just turns the ball over so much, and so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that defensive score.
Fair enough. Let me check somebody's injury status real quick.
Oh no!
For my final pick. And I'm not checking it back, but like Lazard, like, is he going to play this weekend?
That's a good question. I don't have information.
Like, I don't want to pick somebody who's clearly out. I know he's eligible to come off, but again, Green Bay is a team that's real slow about getting guys, and I don't want to pick somebody that's like out or expected to be out on a Wednesday and just check it back and not have a full team. So like, I'll just go with somebody else instead. I have 4,100. I could go with a tight end in flex here. Let's just switch it to flex. I could easily go with a tight end in flex here. There's plenty of value wide receivers. Hunter Henry at 4,100, very good and getting good volume. And I think that he's been a little bit touchdown unlucky, especially dropping one in the last game. But also here at 3,500, I got Josh Reynolds and his terrible picture.
Okay.
The highest ADOT Rams wide receiver at like 12.7, where both Woods and Kupp are lower ADOT guys. At 3,500, I get the massive upside against Seattle. I think that game's going to shoot out just like everything else. I have big splash upside. He's seen a whole lot of targets the last 3 weeks with 22 targets over 3 games. If he gets similar service to that, I'm not expecting 9 targets, but if he gets like 6 or 7 against Seattle, he should do really well, especially considering that he is the highest ADOT guy on that team. So I will plug that in there and hope
good. And
that
you had
Kupp and Reynolds that catches the touchdowns against your Woods.
Well, it's going to say it's not being talked about, but 2 weeks ago you had Cooper Kupp had that wrist thing going on, and we don't have any more information, so you expect that he's fine, but that's a scenario where in game you could find out his wrist is actually not okay.
We'll see. I hope he's fine. I'm always I never.
No, you never root for an injury.
Not root for an injury, but like I don't want injuries to happen during the games because they always happen in the first quarter and it ruins everybody's weekend. Like I want people to be the guy. I want the person that wins to win because your players outplayed the other teams, not because, well, I had an injury. Like I got lucky last week and I survived because I had Jackson.
I was going to say, how much Justin Jackson did you have?
I had a lot.
Week?
I had like 36% Justin Jackson. I had him in the cage match, but like I ran away from because I had Dalvin Cook. But Mike, thank you for being here. My team.
Well, hold on.
What?
How are we going to get through the entire cage match and not? Do you have like some sad music or something?
Oh my God.
There's got to be something.
Well, here's a song called "Regret," so that's got to be a song.
Sure. Will I be able to hear it?
No. It's not all that sad. Is the problem. We'll go with this one.
It's not sad enough to deal with. Yeah, there we go in the chat. Everybody hurts.
Yeah, I don't know if the chat. DMCA, I can't really do that. But the reason why Mike and I chose week 10 for him to be on the show this year, because both of us were really, we were the captains, I would say, the co-captains of the Blake Jarwin train.
There's a few more of us out there, but of really high profile people. It was I felt like me and you were, Thelma Louise driving off that cliff.
I had 50+% of him in my best ball drafts.
Oh, man.
I had like 35% Dak. So we chose the Cowboys bye week to do this head-to-head match. So I'm gonna pour a little water out.
Yes, please.
For the homie.
For Jarwin.
For Jarwin.
And Look, what happened with Dalton Schultz that like next couple weeks while Dak was healthy, that was the victory lap. I'm taking it. I'm taking that victory lap. That if Jarwin is a better pass catcher than Dalton Schultz, and Dalton Schultz was balling out with Dak Prescott, it would have happened.
It would have been a massive thing that would have crushed for the entire season as long as Dak would have stayed healthy. But if Jarwin stays healthy, maybe Dak stays healthy, because we know,
butterfly
Back to the Future.
effect.
Yeah. So anyway, Mike, thank you for being here. We're going to play this out over the weekend. I will post on Twitter a link to the head-to-head game that you guys can follow on Sunday. And I will go over on the recap video who won. Best of luck to you, Mike. Best of luck to you guys on the podcast. If you don't already follow Mike on every single social channel, you should. Really nice dude, really funny guy. And we'll be back next time with another head-to-head cage match next Wednesday. Look for another video right here.
He's a legend.